This video is sponsored by War Thunder. Over the next 100 days, I'll have to survive alone. With only my ship, I'll be chased by murderous robots with zero skills. I'll have to complete bounties, explore military facilities, delve into infected colonies, and much more. One small mistake and I'm dead. No one to heal me. I'll need to learn everything from scratch. How to fight, grow food, and improve my ship to make it a home while being constantly on the run. Here we go. I spent 100 days in Rimworld Odyssey. The mechanoids were on their way. In just a matter of hours, I quickly grabbed as many gravlite panels as I could, storing them on my small ship. There was some silver up for the taking too. I made sure to leave nothing behind, and soon enough, the robots arrived. There was no time left. I quickly chose a place on the planet to travel to and launched my ship. I was alive, but the landing was rough. For 9 days, I wouldn't be able to take off again. The nausea was intense. The good thing was that I had some resources on the ship I could grab. So, I used some wood to construct a bed before the night. I also equipped myself with a machine pistol. The robots would come back at any second. I started to repair the outer hull. The coast seemed clear for the moment. Only wild animals nearby. I went to bed. There were lots of work ahead. The next morning, I finished fixing the hull. My main priority was food. Rice was the fastest and easiest product to grow. I began clearing and preparing the soil for the seeds. It took longer than expected. All day, in fact, increasing my skills with plants to level 2. The rest of my abilities, absolute 0. I hauled the fallen logs to the ship, ate some of the packaged food I had left, and went to sleep once again. Next thing I needed to focus on was defense. Pirate raids would come soon. I set up wooden barricades on all 4 sides. Just when I was finished, a visitor arrived. She seemed to have some items to trade. I checked her wares, but there was nothing of value. After a quick snack, I went to sleep. This place left a lot to be desired. I didn't even have a table to eat, and the room was quite cold to sleep comfortably. My objective was to make this ship a home. In order to expand it, I needed to craft gravship substructure. It worked as a foundation for everything. It required gravlite panels and steel to make. Fortunately, I had some laying around. Time to work. I set one panel after the other, botching the construction in the process since my skills were not good. It took a while, but doing so improved my construction to level 3. Now I could start building on top of this thing. I felt it was time to give my ship a name, the Star Seeker. But right after, we got our first deadly encounter, a bird. I installed a mod that allowed me to have full control of my pawn with WASD and aim with the mouse. I thought it was a pretty unique way of experiencing the game. Back to work, I expanded the foundation of my ship even more, turning it into a wing. Another visitor arrived. This one had some interesting stuff. I bought a component and some medicine from him. By day 6, I finished constructing the outer hull of the new area. I set up a table and some chairs. It felt good, but that happiness wouldn't last long. My first raid was incoming. It was a single-linked person holding a knife. As funny as that sounds, I actually had quite some trouble landing my shots, since my ability with guns was awful. I kept moving around in circles. If I moved too far, I couldn't hit. So I had to stay close enough so the shots would land. Finally, it was over. I grabbed all the loot and took it to the ship. Resuming with home improvements, I put up some wall lights, but they lacked power. I needed a chem fuel powered generator, which I wasn't able to construct yet. I needed more skill. So I started expanding the right side of the ship, working day and night. By day 8, I finished the job, and the rice was ready to harvest. All of this work was tiring. I had to take a break, so I went for a swim to relax and avoid breaking mentally. Then an opportunity arrived, a quest. I detected the energy signature of a grav core. I could go and take it, but it would take days and it was heavily defended by mechanoids. I wasn't ready for such a task yet. Once I was done harvesting the rice, I cleaned up the place a bit and realized I reached construction level 6. I was able to build a chem fuel powered generator. After filling it up, we had lights. Now there was a new problem, steel. I only had 32 units left. it was crucial to get more, to keep expanding my ship, and even more. Thankfully, the nearby walls were full of compacted steel nodes, ready to mine. I got to it. It was extremely slow though, again because of my lack of skill, but I continued learning, getting better with each single strike. All of a sudden, somebody arrived in a crash pod, injured. I went to the rescue. She would bleed out in 10 hours. Quickly, I carried her into the ship and started tending to her wounds, trying to stop the bleeding. Fortunately, I seemed to have stabilized her. We managed to both sleep through the night. Next morning, I found her resting. I gave her something to eat. Her name was Folly. I continued mining more steel, non-stop. On day 12, I received a call. A man named Seb was asking for help. He was being chased by tribespeople. He begged for safety. I would need to fight off his chasers. What I didn't realize was that he joined my colony and even wanted us to have a name for our group, calling ourselves the Wandering Fleet. Just right behind him, the raider appeared. Sev was really grateful for saving his life, so much that he started mining to help me out. Thing is, being more people attracted more raiders. Another person tried to attack, but once again, I took them out with no problem. I ended up banishing Sev. I worked alone. I traveled alone. My one rule was that nobody would come with me. The ship was finally ready to take off. It was time to finish the preparations. I completed the right side of the ship, and then I realized a little bunny got trapped with me. I tried taming it, but I didn't have enough skill to do so. Finally, Folly was healed. She could stand up, and just like that, she left. Word gets around, and that night, I got another call. A Magister of Trade sent me a message. A fugitive named Chase escaped from his custody and used a transport pod to flee to an abandoned orbital platform. My job was to travel there and kill him. I would be rewarded with a GravTech device, so I accepted the bounty. The ship was ready to take off, but I had a problem. There was no food left. I was starving. I had to turn to hunting to get by. I built an electric stove and started cooking. With this, I would no longer eat raw rice. The raids didn't stop coming, by the way. Just as I was starting to settle down, building more shelves to have more storage, I got an alert. The mechanoids were on their way. I needed to move. The problem with going to space was that for 9 days after landing, I wouldn't be able to launch again. It was crucial to have enough food and fuel to survive and come back. I needed 800 units of chem fuel for just a one-way trip, and it was beyond my maximum range. I had only 2 small tanks. It was time to gather more. I built a biofuel refinery and a wood fire generator to power it up. With this, I could turn wood into fuel. I kept working, growing some more rice, since I will need a lot of food out there. While doing so, a wild cougar wanted to eat me. I managed to take it down with my machine pistol and made the best use out of the corpse. I continued chopping wood and making more fuel. To work faster, I needed to improve the work conditions, so I built a chair to sit on and a vent, so the room wouldn't be as hot because of the generator. I finally reached 800 units of chem fuel, but the true problem was that it still wouldn't be possible to get there. My range was limited. I needed to get closer, and one way to help with that was building more thrusters. I set up 2 of them. Then a heat wave arrived. It could cause deadly heat stroke, so I built a cooler in one of the rooms. Right after, another crash pod. This man was from an enemy faction, Raiders. I decided to just leave him to bleed out. Now I was able to jump further with my ship if I wanted to, but still it wasn't enough to reach the orbital outlaw. I will have to make a couple of jumps first. Before leaving, multiple things happened. First, I got a new quest. The Magister of Trade of the Orbital Federation informed me of a collection of valuable items worth over 500 silver not far from here. It was a thunderous great bow. There could be unknown threats there. It was located southeast of my position. Then, chunks of a spacecraft landed nearby. I took it apart, getting components and steel. Following this, I got another quest. I detected the energy signature of a grav core. It was a region with dangerously low temperatures, but this one was really far up north. Not my priority right now. I was really interested interested in this great bow. The location was an arid shrubland. It had no arable soil, so I needed to focus on getting enough resources to be sure I would survive there. What didn't help at all was the raider that appeared right after, stealing my thruster. I tried to chase them, shooting and running as fast as I could, but they managed to get away. To keep up with all the resources I was gathering, I had to build more shelves. I also bought a couple of components from some wandering traders. I learned about the location of an ancient warehouse. I could loot the structure for valuable resources, but the place contained a variety of threats. This one was located southwest of my position. I kept mining, leveling up my skills. The crops were ready to harvest, and then it happened. I got sick. Somehow, I contracted the plague. I needed to spend as much time in bed as possible and receive treatment if I wanted to survive. I grabbed some medicine and did my best. It wasn't good, but at least it increased my medical skill to level 1. The plague was minor for the moment, but it was slowly worsening. My immunity needed to reach 100% in order to heal. That wasn't all. The mechanoids will arrive in 24 hours. I prioritized holding all the steel I mined, getting it inside the ship. After using more medicine and resting for a while, I developed full immunity. Now I was ready to depart. Only 6 hours remained before the mechanoids arrived. Time to fly. Odyssey is probably one of the best expansions in Rimworld. I never got tired of the flying off and landing animations. It's surprisingly immersive. It reminds me of how detailed the vehicles are in War Thunder, a modern military simulator that has incredible vehicle combat. Every single thing is bottled down to its individual components: engines, fuel tanks, weapons, even the crew. They're all vulnerable to damage, and the different types of armor, shells, and missiles behave like the real ones. If your vehicle or an enemy is destroyed, you can see exactly what happens in X-ray view. It shows you where the shell penetrated, which components were affected, and what ultimately led to the destruction of the vehicle. There are over 2,500 vehicles to choose from. You can use tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships. They're super realistic. My personal favorite thing, the destruction effects. The sound design makes you feel like you're right there. Give it a try. War Thunder is free, it's on PC, consoles, and mobile devices. With a community of over 70 million players, there's simply no better game if you like military history. Be sure to use my links in the pinned comment or video description to sign up. New players and those who haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack on PC or console that includes multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account. Available for a limited time only, so don't miss it. Had some nausea from the landing. Again, it wasn't pretty. The storm seemed to have ignited some of the grass. I put it out quickly. It happened everywhere. I tried to put out all of it, especially around the trees, to stop it from spreading. Checking the area, I found some compacted steel nearby too. Good to know. There were some ruins in front of the ship, and down south, a room with some doors. I needed to see what was inside. The next morning, I was on my way there until I got ambushed. This was my first real threat. The man had a machine gun. I quickly went to my ship to grab some medicine, just in case. I got a bruise and a crack in my spine, but I survived. I took his pistol to my ship. Finally, I found the bow. It was much more precise than my machine gun and had a much bigger range. Could shoot this from a long distance. It would take about a week before my ship would be ready to take off again. In the meantime, I focused on organizing all of my mess. First, I constructed the thruster that was stolen from me. Next, I focused on clearing the area in front of my ship, deconstructing all of the ruins. And then I began expanding the substructure. It took a while, days and nights. By day 40, I finished the foundation, followed by the outer hull. But I ran out of steel. I had to get back to mining. Once the outer hull was ready, I reorganized the interior, moving the pilot console, the shelves to make a proper storage area, arranging every single item, and all the workstations too. The place was looking slightly more organized now. I even constructed a chess table to have some fun by myself. Then I got a notification. I detected a massive gravitech energy reading, indicating that the mech hive was hidden somewhere in orbit. Those things gave birth to mechanoids. If I collected more gravshift technology, I could track down the location information. The ship was ready to launch. The next place was the warehouse the trader told me about, and so I went. The area was full of trucks, crates, barrels, and a huge facility with doors. Time to go in. I got shot. That turret hit me in my right leg. I went back to the ship to tend my wound. I also made sure to grab another medicine pack with me. Going back, another turret. The place was full of them. Then I saw an ancient security terminal. I got the idea to deconstruct the wall to get to it, but I got hit again. Good thing I had a second medkit at hand. Following this, I deconstructed another wall and got to a different room, which had a box I could open. It had some steel inside, which I took to the ship. After eating something, I went to sleep. Next day, I was fully healed. Another raider tried their luck, but it was an easy encounter. My bow was amazing, so precise. Next, I kept exploring the facility. I entered some sort of kitchen. There were 2 corpses. I stripped them to see if they had anything of value. I also found a pallet which contained some packaged survival meals. This was perfect. I was running out of food. I brought everything to the ship. Continuing further, I came across another trap. This one was a mechanical thing called Wasp. It looked like floating spheres that chased me, stunning me on impact. I launched my arrows one after the other, taking those things one by one. I managed to defeat them all, but I ended up heavily wounded. Back to the ship, I bandaged my whole body while blood splattered all over the ground. So much. It was awful. I went straight to bed. Being alone was harder than I thought, especially for this kind of task. If I wanted to survive out there, I needed better weapons and armor. Grenades. That meant research. But before that, I wanted to try and see the rest of the facility. The loot was mostly steel, until I found the game room. It was full of armchairs, poker and pool tables. Next to it, I came across a pallet with survival meals. But most importantly, I later found out a sealed crate containing plasteel, an advanced tech structural material. After fighting a wasp, I tended my wounds back to the ship. So much fighting left me exhausted. So I played some poker to relax. In fact, I took one of the tables and installed it in my bedroom. And I didn't stop there. I would make this place feel like a home. The blood didn't help, so I cleaned all of it. Continuing with the looting, I found some components and took the pool table back to my room too. Alongside one of the armchairs, things were looking better. To keep things nice and tidy, I crafted some doormats for every single door. This way I could clean my feet and avoid bringing nasty stuff inside. My stay in this place was coming to an end, since my ship was almost ready to take off. I encountered some silver nodes I was able to mine. While doing so, a group of goats wandered into the area. They seemed accustomed to human contact and joined my colony. I needed a place for them. I built a fence in the pilot room, setting up a pen marker, and led the goats slowly and carefully to the ship, one by one. My new friends. Now it was time to leave. The orbital outlaw was still out of range. I needed to make another jump before going there. To the southwest, the place that caught my attention was an infested settlement. While landing, I accidentally disengaged the grav engine too early. Some things suffered light damage from the crash. I had to spend a good amount of time fixing everything, day and night. As if things weren't busy enough, one of the goats got pregnant. I kept repairing the ship. It was everywhere, cracks all over. I even had to sweep rubble from the floor. Once that was done, I gave some potatoes to the goats, but it wasn't enough to feed all of them. I started growing hay. While I was at it, I heard gunshots. Wandering traders started fighting the insects, the ones that took over the abandoned colony. They were armed to the teeth. That gave me an idea, to use them as bait. I quickly opened every door I came across, letting the insects out. I lured them right into the traders and watched them fight. The visitors took care of the monsters, and also a raider too. I didn't have to lift a finger, but there were casualties. One of them was downed, and they left him behind. I took advantage of this and grabbed any valuables. Since the hay was still growing, I harvested some berries to feed the goats. Then I began exploring the settlement. First, I grabbed the glow pot and put it in my pilot room. I hauled some insect jelly too, but the most important thing, when opening some sealed boxes, I found a triple rocket launcher alongside more stuff, but the rocket launcher was amazing. It was only a single use, but it could cause massive destruction, so I needed to choose the right situation to use it. I hauled everything to the ship. After killing an insect, I entered the room where I found the rusty safe. Inside, there was a needy study, a map containing drawings of nearby territories. It was created by Folly. Wait. Folly was the woman I saved. Things said Folly lies here. I took it to the ship, giving it a good read at my desk. I unlocked a new quest. I discovered the location of a camp controlled by the nation of Kroyo. They were hostile tribespeople. Maybe she was trapped there. The camp was located northeast from here, quite the distance. I will have to check that out after I deal with my space bounty. I installed more glow posts into my ship. I wanted to possess a little piece of every place I set foot on, a collection of sorts. While sleeping, I got another quest. The Magister was looking for a second fugitive. This one was hidden in an abandoned platform. The reward was really good, a graveship shield generator. I accepted the mission. After giving the goats more berries, I found a medicine pallet inside the settlement, and more bugs. The bigger ones were really annoying. It was hard to aim with my bow. My shots were not too precise. It took me a long while to be able to defeat them. The last one got really angry at my cooler, smashing its head against it. It almost took the thing apart. I managed to kill the bug and repair the unit. Going inside, I opened another rusty safe. It contained a map. Actually, it was a collection of maps. It had several nearby locations labeled monsters. I took it to the ship to have a good read, but then I ran out of power. I didn't realize I had no more chem fuel left. After setting up a wood fire generator, I was able to use the refinery to make more fuel. Beginning day 61, some tribespeople left me a gift, some gold. How nice. I continued reading. This let me reach intelligence level 2, and I unlocked a new quest, Awoken Warriors. I discovered the location of an infamous company of mercenaries. They had recently awoken from cryosleep and were causing trouble in the area. Their leader, Fluff, possessed a unique legendary weapon. The location was southwest from here. I head there once I finished my bounty. 2.8 days still remained to be able to launch my ship. For the time being, I cleared the place up, destroying all the goo that blocked my way, finding more medicine and more bugs. Finally, I finished searching the whole settlement. I cut some wood just in case I ran out of fuel in space. Then, one of the goats gave milk. Not only that, it gave birth to a baby. It was so small. The little thing spent most of the day sleeping. So cute. The next day, he ate some berries. They were bigger than him. The Starseeker was ready to launch. Now we would be able to get out there, or so I thought. An alert came up. I was missing heat sources and oxygen pumps. My vac suit was enough to keep me alive out there, but the goats wouldn't make it. I didn't want to risk their lives, especially the little one, so I had to release them to the wild, let them free. It was hard, but it was for the best. I cleaned everything and set off to space. A couple thrusters broke down on the landing. It would take 8 days before I could fly off again. Time to move. I grabbed the rocket launcher. There seemed to be a broken wall up north with a dead body. My target will probably be quite dangerous. I picked up some medicine and headed out. There were some turrets at the entrance. I managed to dodge their shots and run inside one of the rooms, opening a pallet with some packaged food. Continuing on, I came across a gaming room with a TV, sofas, some poker and pool tables. But close by, everything got destroyed. Except for the turret. I was good, thankfully. Right next to me, there was a corpse. It had marine armor and an assault rifle. I put on the equipment. While doing so, I saw somebody in the hallway. stripped them from their equipment and finished them off. Completing the quest, the reward arrived, a pilot sub-persona core. Before anything, I tended my wounds. I was quite injured. Then I changed my armor for the new one, since it wasn't tainted. I grabbed everything and returned to the ship. After sleeping on the floor for hours, I woke up to repair the thrusters, refill the ship, and install the sub-persona core. This thing reduced the chance of an accident happening when flying. To fully loot this place, I needed to take the turrets out. So I faced one of them, but it was brutal. I had to take tons and tons of shots. Thanks to the marine armor, I was able to survive, but not without injury. I used the medicine to not bleed to death. The reason why I did such a risky thing was because this room had a security terminal. With it, I could hack into the system and disable the turrets, or so I thought. To be able to do this, I needed intelligence level 8, and I was only 2. With nothing else to do, I proceeded to explore the rest of the place. But then... I couldn't catch a break, but at least I was getting better at combat. I had to spend the whole following day resting, healing. Even then, a second raid appeared. This one I survived quite easily though. They dropped an assault rifle and some good silver, plus medicine. Before leaving the place, I stole the TV and put it in my room, taking my place to the next level. Following this, I built a research bench. It was time to choose a project, microelectronics. If I unlocked this, I could make EMP grenades, EMP launchers, and more. To improve my work speed, I moved the table to the other room and also set up a heater to be warm. The ship was ready to launch. Just as I was about to choose my destination, a new quest arrived. An anonymous AI requested my help defending surveying equipment at a remote site. The reward was good, but before going there, I wanted to check the outlaw camp the map indicated to see if Folly was there. The tribesman was dead. I investigated the base, but there was no one else. No signs of Folly. With this done, I focused solely on research, grinding level after level, watching some TV in the middle to relax, working, learning, going for a swim, until the Star Seeker was ready to launch again. I met some more chemfuel and chopped some wood. Thanks to my higher intelligence, now the chances of having an incident were 53. Still a lot, but better than before. To reach the ancient mercenaries from the quest I received earlier, I needed to get closer, since it was beyond my reach. I flied all the way to the edge of the area. There wasn't anything of interest in this specific place, so I kept researching. I had to wait for a couple of days for the engine to cool. By day 82, I unlocked microelectronics. Thanks to this, I took apart my old research table and built a new high-tech steel bench. In order to craft EMP grenades, I had to learn machining too, which required unlocking smithing first, so I got to it. In the meantime, I deconstructed some ship chunks I came across. These components were crucial to build the EMP grenades, especially useful to confront the mechanoids. Later that day, I unlocked smithing. I was ready to launch, time to visit those mercenaries. As soon as I landed, I already saw one of my targets. The one that remained alive decided not to enter my ship, maybe out of fear or out of shock of her partner's death, who knows. But one of them was down. Me, I wasn't far from death. I laid on my bed, in severe pain, with a crack on my pelvis, burns on both of my legs, a crushed stomach, bruises all over my torso, and if that wasn't enough, an infection. I went to take more medicine and rested, hoping nobody would come inside my ship and murder me in my sleep. The next day, I was able to stand up and at least read something, but the sickness was getting worse. It was a major infection. My immune system was fighting back though. I went to bed. The single mistake could end everything. I didn't have anyone to rely on. Later that day, I developed immunity. While resting, a ton of my food had rotted in the storage. I needed to build a freezer soon, expand my ship even more, but that's for later. Now, I was fighting for my life. Just as I was about to heal fully, a raid. 3 people were incoming. That's when I remembered. The gun, the weapon from the mercenary I killed, was a legendary gun. I quickly came out and grabbed it. Then, the unexpected happened. The fugitive started fighting the tribespeople. They began exchanging shots, arrows from one side, bullets from the other. It was a 3v1, but that didn't stop her from annihilating them. Now, it was the perfect time for me to strike, while she was weak. I did it. The job was complete, and now I possessed a legendary revolver. I was free to explore the facility. The good news was that this time I had enough intelligence to hack a terminal. Doing this let me reprogram a turret to not attack me. Next, I found an ancient uplink I could also hack. It unlocked the quest. I discovered the location of an orbital satellite. I could scavenge valuable technology there, but it would be heavily guarded by ancient security systems. Next, I bought some components and sold loot to visiting traders. Exploring inside, I discovered tons of chem fuel to grab, but then I got a disease. Sleeping sickness. It would take a while to heal, so I tended my wounds right away. I made sure to haul everything to the ship. While doing so, a mad bird appeared out of nowhere and flew right to me, attacking me. It was really hard to land a shot, but I managed to take it down. After fueling my ship, I picked up some components, clearing the facility fully. The mechanoid relay I wanted to reach was really far away from here. I had to make a jump first to an excavation site. Once there, I got a lot of wood for fuel. At one moment, a cargo pod arrived. It consisted of wort, which was unfermented beer. Nothing else strange. With the ship refilled, now I was able to reach my final destination. The landing was a bit messy, but that was the least of my worries. The place was full of lava, and this was the mechanoid relay. In order to get it, I had to hack or destroy 3 stabilizers. These were guarded by mechanoids. And lastly, between me and them, there were tons of rocks blocking my way. First, I spent my time cleaning all the rubble and fixing the ship, especially the walls. Actually, everywhere. The damage was worse than I expected. I had to spend the whole day doing maintenance. With that done, I went out to start mining, finding some compacted machinery. This gave components, which were crucial for crafting advanced stuff. I took everything to the ship. Then I began making a tunnel straight to the mechanoids. The first one was a scyther. It was sleeping. Since it had no ranged weapons, I had the advantage. It was pretty easy to kite around and defeat. But then the second one, it was able to shoot. We exchanged fire. I managed to come on top, but it wasn't without its consequences. My left big toe shot off. I lost it in the firefight. Out of anger, fear, and shock, I started attacking the last one remaining. It took only a few shots till it went down. The area was clear for the moment. I went to my ship to tend to my wounds. I didn't want to bleed out right now. As if I didn't have enough, raiders appeared. But the funny thing was, they went straight to the caves, full of insects, and died in the process, of course. Now, free of enemies, I focused on hacking the relay stabilizers. I was able to do so thanks to my intellectual skill, which was higher thanks to all the research I did before. By hacking, instead of destroying it, I wouldn't draw any additional attention to myself. The bad thing, it was really slow. While working on the second unit, my hacking was detected, locking me out for multiple hours. This happened a lot. Finally, all the machines were hacked. With this, the mechanoid relay crashed crashed. I quickly went to destroy it, revealing the grav core and the grav light panels. I was taking everything to the ship, but then a drop pod arrived. The mechanoids were here. I got shot, heavily wounded. I managed to get to the ship, spilling blood all over the ground. But that wasn't all. The robot destroyed my cooler and got inside, taking everything apart. I had no choice. I had to face it. So, these were my first 100 days in Rimworld Odyssey, barely making it out alive, struggling with the small things, but it was rewarding. I was stronger now. I built this from nothing. This was my little flying corner in the universe, but maybe it was time to find somebody to not be alone anymore. Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Play for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox or mobile by using my links in the pinned comment or video description. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack across PC and consoles, including multiple premium vehicles and more, available for a limited time only.